Greetings, everyone, and welcome to day number 265. Have a really full update for you tonight. As you guys are well aware, it has been a day of massive strikes in Ukraine. Not only that, we had the G20 meetings going on and the chaos there with Lavrov. In addition to that, Moldova news and the big news of the day, the Poland strike. We've got the latest information up to the minute on all of these topics. Now, with that said, I need to give you a pre-warning tonight, and I'll give you that in just a second. But first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the community. Thank you for sharing, liking, commenting, doing everything that you do. Thank you to the moderators. As you guys can see, a lot of the things that we've been talking about are coming to fruition. We've talked about Poland from the very beginning of the war, how that eventually, something would strike Polish territory. We've been talking about it from way early. In addition to that, you can remember it was like about day 30, 40, or 50 of the war where NATO said if one, and it was actually President of the United States, if one little piece of anything hits sovereign NATO territory, you will get the full response of NATO. How's that going for you? You know as well as I know, it's not going to happen. With that said, we'll give you the latest on that. Now, Ukraine, up to 10 million people out of power today. They're getting it back slowly. And tonight, I've got Zhenya with me. But here's the warning. Zhenya and I had to connect for our conversation about the events of the day, and I wanted to be together. We've been talking all day as he would come in and out of cellular service. We have rigged away. He is in his apartment. They've been without power all day. They've had no water, but he's got a little bit of power back to the home. He's using some battery lights and different things to make it look good. And then he was able to get some power back off the grid just a little while ago, but no internet. So your big question tonight is, well, how are you guys going to do an update today with no internet? We're going to do it through a cellular connection. Now, what that means for you guys is that affects me also connecting to him, because literally we've connected out of Central Virginia where I am through Kiev into Khmelnytsky, and it's done through mobile connection. You can see right now when I'm talking to you here, everything's perfect. But once I connect to him, it's gonna be a little bit of a challenge. Some of the audio will get off sync, and that's just due to him being in a war zone. This is gonna be like old school, hearing somebody from Vietnam and there's a delay or it gets desynced. That is not on your TV screen. That is not on your YouTube. It's not on your Facebook, wherever you're watching. That is due to there's very little infrastructure in Ukraine right now, and they are doing their best to repair. So we are connected literally through a mobile connection, and he has a booster on it, and that's just the way it's going to be tonight. So it's him and I talking, giving the updates on everything. Maybe tonight you just need to kind of close your eyes and listen in your mind. But please do not become frustrated, doing the best we can. It was a very difficult day in Ukraine, and there's no way we were not going to do our very best to come together on this day, the #1 day of attacks against Ukraine since the war started. Not only that, Moldova is suffering. We'll talk about that. And NATO sovereign territory has been hit. So here you go. Buckle up, and I'm going to roll Zhenya in now. Be blessed, guys, and thank you for everything. You have been warned. You're getting ready to watch an update through a mobile connection with a booster. Be blessed. Nice to see you, bud.
Hello. Nice to see you too.
How has the day been?
Long with the surprises. Yeah, we've
Day
been
number
shelled.
260.
We've been attacked, like in our place and in places of Ukraine, over 100 missiles. It's the biggest missile attack on Russia February 24.
Day number 265, and not unexpected to this magnitude.
So probably we're ready because I've been yelling or crying on the streets. Like people were asking, okay, did our guys hit it all or not? How much went through? Used to that, and but nobody was crying. No, I mean, at least what from in my place, surely today was killed some Ukrainians. Yes, it's a tragedy, but being in the middle of the war with this kind of enemy, you just checking each other on, and simple things like get, hey, do you have internet? I said no. Sometimes it's appeared that people say, hey, could you charge me put some money on my phone because I can think like that. So
well, let's be very clear for everybody tonight. So we can on day 265. You've got a little light finally, but really do not have internet. You're kind of rigging it to get me any signal delay. There may be a little bit of this, so just look at his flag when he's talking, because it's a miracle. We thought we were going to have to maybe even do a little circle video way we can communicate, but we're trying to pull this off. So let's tonight 100 missiles, many were shot down, but here's what I have, and I can't show the maps. People know it. So Kiev, Zhytomyr, Lviv, Vinnytsia, Cherkasy, Kryvyi Rog, where mine got out, Odessa Oblast, Volyn, Ivano-Frankivsk, Poltava, Kharkiv, Sumy, Ternopil, Grad, and Chernigov. Basically.
sorry, say it again.
Basically, all of Ukraine was hit.
Yeah, I mean, Ukraine. So at the moment, about 10 million of people lost their homes. 10 millions.
Okay.
And at this moment, from information what I have, it's already got it back.
10 million people. So that's good. Now, I know there's lots of hot topics, and we're going to them all tonight. I was talking with Blazhiny earlier, and I just heard 2 rockets hit in my city. And to be quite honest, it scared him. Power, no water. And he told me, he goes, but I'm waiting for you. Hurry up. But, that was Khmelnytsky. I actually saw some postings earlier by Farron's. He posted, and she says, please pray for our country. We're being hit. And then like just a little while later, my city's now being hit. So it's happened throughout. So talking tonight, we talked about, and I did even last night, we can't, but Zhdanov was giving a little bit of information saying this Kherson invasion or recapture is great. We've done a good job. It's not really what we expected. We expected a bigger kind of strange what is happening. And then you and I were talking, and just because you took Kherson so easily, I personally felt inch for Russia, and that was to protect below the Dnipro River, fire missiles, and cut Ukraine off from electric and power and water. And I mean, that's what I was thinking over the last 48 hours, and sure, a big hit. So there's something going on that's even bigger than we know of.
I think there is kind of a thought or prove something to the world society, which Russia that you see will like we'll let some territories. Let's start negotiations. Ukraine is in a bad situation, and we will make them even worse. You need to make somehow Ukraine start talking and discussing. They will give us, and our president said no negotiation. It's already decided. We don't have anyone to negotiate with. Have no honor, have no principles. They're promising one, the next opposite. So how it's possible to have negotiation with this kind of partner, let's say?
Come out and say after he marched through Kherson, and that was fantastic. He says, "Let's this city, but we will not negotiate with a terrorist. We're going to kick you out of." That includes Crimea. And I think you're right. I think in the of the Kremlin, it is okay. We're nice people. We're giving you, even though it's still ours, just like you're saying. Why don't we negotiate a little bit? Of course, as you said, there's going to be no negotiations, but some things have changed. Sure, 100%. It's not going back. And everybody I know is here to on something we're going to talk about in a moment. But before we do that, let's go to the G meeting. Of course, Zelensky did not go. He was going to be invited because Putin did not go. Lavrov went. And there's a lot of interest today at the G20. First of all, there was the rumors that Lavrov was, and then the Kremlin came out and said, no, I'm not in the hospital. He's not in the hospital. And then basically there's a couple of different stories, and I want you to clarify. He made his speech, and then he got on the airplane and started flying back to Moscow, and then all of the missiles, or he talked in the G20, said, we don't want to hear nothing you have to say. What really happened at the G20? What really happened?
Let's say there is like two. In reality, there were kind of ignorance, I would say, option, and yes, the atmosphere was terrible for Russia, but I believe it should be even worse. And so he left. This is what their media says, that he was moved out of there because of the attitude. Nobody wanted to take a picture, because of the Russia and so on and so on. And I believe with that, it's just terrorizing the world and from the Russian side. And maybe it will be. It's a time to make. Not G20. This situation, the country which is breaking all the regulations, all the agreements, and demanding something, moving the borders, international borders, the world threatening with the nuclear weapons should be. The fear should be stopped.
We'll finish up on that G20. You're right. It non-productive. They wanted Russia out of there, but a couple things that were interesting was in the air on his airplane about 90 minutes, an hour and a half, and then the missiles started flying away. That was not calculated, and that was not planned. Secondly, at the G20, President Biden did a horrible job with Xi in China. It was just a diplomacy, and it's another failure on the United States, the world leader. But I'm not going in there. We do not discuss America on these updates each night. But the fact is that contributes to the giving a green card from America, from President Biden. And it's just secondly, Israel, Syria, Iran, cranky, the terrorism, everything is heating up, and 100% it's all connected. Janet Yellen giving the green light to India to buy Russian oil at price. It's complete. Listen to light yesterday for India to buy Russian oil. Lavrov leaves a lot of money. Lavrov leaves the G20. Missiles are flying Ukraine today. So I think it's all connected. I want to come back to Ukraine that came out today and told Russia to evacuate the Zaporozhye because, and I'm quoting Germany, we're one, they called it like one string from at the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. You got any updates down there other than what not leaving it? I mean, that's their golden egg.
Yes. At this moment, it's like potential nuclear bomb. This is what Russia, doing with not about electricity. It's about terrorizing. And reality, it's it seems to me it's like a mental sick person. You trying to move that person to the logic field, and the person says, yes, everything, yeah, I'm for, yeah, everything is good. Why not to fire this stuff, fire it up? And it seems to me that in reality they really they don't understand I would say. That's it.
So that will continue to be a place of nuclear terrorism. I mean, Russia's not going to care at all what Germany's doing. Do you have? I'm jumping around because I'm coming to the big story, and that's why we're on here together tonight. It's the biggest day of attack. This is bigger than day one. Day 265 is the scale attacks from Russia. Do you have any update on that? Has Ukraine taken a little bit of territory over there?
Okay, coming to the south and that area. No, we don't have the confirmation. Let's say there is some activities there, the fights there, and yes, they're the Russian, let's say they're retrieving, they're getting back longer because of the HIMARS, and our HIMARS having a good range, accuracy. This is why they try and call maximum the troops out when it was what of the river, but stay there is the fight goes and artillery non-stop there.
So no matter what,
no success on the more south. We were expecting on the left bank from the
okay. So
Ukraine.
there you have it, folks. And remember, internet connection tonight.
Sorry,
can you show them
the connection?
Yeah.
How
just so people, we're barely getting you out.
Okay. So here is my regular router. No internet.
Yeah. Dead.
And I had to use Greg, what an antenna.
Come on,
and this
man. Because we're having some delay.
This is my antenna.
This window found on a child's pink seat. Hey, we're doing everything we can to get.
Router I'm using for this kind of connection, but
well,
to be honest, sorry, I couldn't.
That's okay.
I couldn't have it this kind. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next story. And yes, I'm saving the big one for last. When you have this massive, yes, Ukraine is doing everything they can to repair as quickly as possible, but at its peak, 10 million people were without power. And eventually, place where we are not able to repair anymore. We know that's the goal. Energy companies have already talked about it, but fortunately, we're still able to repair people tonight without power, but we're not at the 10 million number. What is the weather like coming up over the next week or so forecast?
It seems to now we have minus on the side.
Below
zero.
Zero.
On the streets, below zero, it means the minus for Ukrainians means with the ice or this is it can be like this on some areas of Ukraine. It could be snow. I mean, can be. See, we will see. Yes, it's getting worse. It's getting much more colder, and how they were calling them, the brothers are trying politely to get good attitude from Ukrainians by destroying the grandmothers and grandfathers for they would start dying in the villages which Russia destroyed completely before. There is a lot of villages where there is no electricity since the March, and our guys are restoring. But what this kind of attacks, it just makes it harder to do it. It means it's moving the time of the lines on the winter time closer and closer, and this.
Well, you just returned from being down there, territories. You had firsthand witnesses. We put up videos. We told everybody what's going. But now you think about those villages. You think about some of those faces. You to have no power. It's getting colder, and now, as you said, they're going to be long. It's not as easy to repair. Two ways. If you don't have the part. So fortunately, we're still having parts. But secondly, when it will get muddy, it will get icy, snowy, sloppy. It takes longer and for the electrical companies to repair the infrastructure. So as you said, it winner, and basically the end result of the terroristic attacks, power. That's the absolute goal. We know it.
The situation becoming really, hard. Why? Because the main cities, let's say the biggest cities, yes, sure, the attention bearing it, and people, because when everything, then are the same teams working, on the places which were, and by teams, I mean not just the people who are work. It's the teams where the people who like the territory for the mines and disarming it, the whole process. Plus, if they will get met, then it means that the minefields will be covered. Some roads, because a lot of places where you just have it's just like and when it will be covered, it will be not easy to not see the tracks. So, and the plus, yes, the van we will be checking all the times, because we are not like with front wheel drives, and we will be choosing the places where we can it means that the weather will make for even volunteers work, bring a new challenge to help people.
Well,
yes,
I'm going to be there. We're going, buddy, and we're going to help people the best we can. It's rained here all day long. I hunted in the rain all day. You and I have been talking, preparing, and hoping that we could do this together tonight, because it's such a big day. It was so much rain, I barely got out of the forest. My cousin called me and he says, Greg, I was driving his truck. He says, when you come out, you better have it floored and don't very muddy. And my thoughts were, can you imagine my look? I'm in Virginia hunting, and if I get stuck, I just a big truck and they'll get me out, or I'll just walk to this guy's house. But I was thinking coming out of the forest in Ukraine, where, and you slide off the road, you're in trouble. Period. You're in trouble unless some tank comes by and pulls. But it's the reality.
We will be looking for this. We will be looking for the systems to help ourselves with the different
Can somebody
tools.
please donate us a tank there after Christmas? And we need a tank. We don't need a gun on it. Well, maybe at least some track system. So we're going to modify that van. All right, Jania, let's get to the big boy. And of course, that's making points. People in Ukraine were killed today. People in Ukraine right now. People in Ukraine are cold. That's the big story of the day. Doesn't know all these cities the way we do. We call them out. We show the map pictures. But the world does know Poland. And today, as you and I have said, no, don't go to Poland yet. Don't go to Poland yet. Another one I wanted to do before Poland. Come into Poland, guys. Don't worry. Moldova came out this afternoon and said Ukraine's infrastructure to the point our electrical grid is going down. Moldova.
Yes, not just Moldova, let's say, because of these attacks, it has something problems, but not with electricity, with transporting.
Moldova's losing power.
Moldova. Power, and it's we connected. Let's say their system depends of our system. Yes, Russia is happily attacking Moldova as well. Not the straight way. Their economy, they're destabilizing this country. Yes, there is some like pro-Russian people there. This moment they are like shouting loudly that hey, friends with Russia, you see, and so on. We need to pick up the other friends. So Moldova, let's say, like send a note to Russian embassy, and they are like trying to show their positions that it's they know and they were, but it's Moldova. Let's say Moldova is not a member of NATO or something like this, so they fight their own. It's not easy.
Moldova actually tries to be neutral. They basically have no military. They're occupied in the Transnistria region. A few weeks ago, a missile deflected. Ukrainian air defense landed in Moldova, and now the infrastructure being Ukraine, it's affecting Moldova. What you need to understand, folks, is at many of the border crossings coming from Ukraine into Moldova, and of course we've been across them many times. There is a that not only supplies Ukraine, but it's where power pushes down into Moldova as well. Outside of Chernobyl, say when we go that way, that big power plant, that dam we go over on the way to Moldova. It's there. It's between Ukraine and Moldova. So you've got Moldovans involved. We've already discussed that. Let's go to the big one that the world is waking up to from early on. We've been here 265 days. We said number one, Moldova. That's happening right in front of our eyes. They're being drug into it. Secondly, eventually they keep shooting missiles at Lviv, and eventually something's going to hit in Poland. So today, not many more miles away from the border crossing that we cross, that inside of Poland, not on the border, folks. Yes, on 1 kilometer from the border. It was, if I had maps, I'd show it to you. It was in. So you can't say it was a border mistake or whatever. I don't know. Maybe you do by now. But what we do know is there were direct hits, whether it was deflected or shot down or it went there. I don't. Question number one. Question or state. Question number one. Statement though. I've confirmed people are dead. They were killed in Poland, and defense department immediately went into meetings, and Poland's full NATO, of course. And it's interesting. Estonia, Latvia, and instantly came out and says, if you need to defend yourself, we will help you completely. So their former Soviet bloc area said, we're ready to go. We know they've been hit. We know people have been killed. We know they're probably meeting right now. And of course, NATO, and it's not going to be Stoltenberg. Let's be honest. It's going to be the United States. Buttons here to figure out what's going to happen. With that said, Kiev just came out and says there's no way that NATO's going to do anything. Kiev is not expecting NATO to come attack and start fighting with Ukraine, to give a pass once again to Russia and say, okay, let that accident happen again. But, I remind you of what NATO said early on, of what President of the United States said. If one piece of military equipment hits any NATO soil, we're coming after you. I computer in the studio, I would pull up the video. I have everything. Said that. And it was in like day 40, day 50 of the war. Well, now, so enlighten folks. What do you know the latest on the strike in Poland?
I think at this moment, sorry, but I think the reality is that the NATO at general, the position will be okay to not be in a hurry or not to, to escalate this situation. They will pick up the word. Probably it was a mistake. This is what propaganda. If we would be attacking Poland, trust us, we will be attacking the main, and you would be experiencing the same what Ukraine experiencing. So they are like, it's a NATO will call it a mistake, and the principal position of the countries, and I would say yes, this is the missile X or like 101, the model, like the type of the missile was, and yes, and Poland probably will do some. But I would see the logic, at least to help Ukrainian to cover at least some part of air.
Mm-hmm.
At least it will protect at least Polish people by helping Ukraine. And reality is that it's if the Russian missile over really close to Polish border, and the defense system will work, or even Polish defense system will work to hit, and it will be the land somewhere, and it will be destroying something. Yes, there is a logic in that. It's possible, and all the best ways. And if it be, let's say, having a F-16 or F-15 in air, and destroying the missiles in the air before it will bring. I think there is a logic in it, and yes, Russia this way, the NATO countries, and NATO in general.
Here's the problem.
Yes.
Here's the problem I have with today's events, though. It was just landed 500 meters across the border. I've seen it, and earlier breaking up a little bit. Was it hypersonic, or what was it?
I don't think so. It wasn't.
Okay. What was it? A direct strike, or was it deflect air defense? Everything I saw was direct strike, and it was a mistake.
From what I know, it's a direct strike. We have
that's what
about Ukrainians there. We are not launching like this kind of missiles. And I think let's be in reality. Enough equipment to track the missile. Come on.
Thank you.
Even we're not even coming and checking it there. As technology has, and they will be, and talking and guessing the NATO countries best equipment, and they can track everything. So the question is, what it will bring, and the world to. The NATO will say, be careful next time, Russians. one more time, then it will be the 5 more time. That's enough. And what? I don't know. Couple more Ukrainian
you make
president in the world. Sorry.
point, but here's the deal. It was not on, I consider on the border 500 meters or a kilometer. It was inside Poland. The craters from these missiles were massive. Citizens were killed for no reason. No reason. It fell out of the sky on their head. And you're telling me that NATO saying, oh, it's in our airspace, take it out. I mean, what on one that could even get there? And I think has never been tested. I think we have great NATO nations, great soldiers. There's great American soldiers, European nations of NATO. But the leaders of NATO are spineless cowards. They think they can negotiate with a dictator and a terrorist and not do anything to put to where he's going to go nuclear or he's going to cause an accident at Zaporozhye and the whole to the world. He's going to hit these other nations. It's just a matter of time. And NATO will respond. They're not, because they would have already responded. In my opinion, the political leaders of NATO, not the soldiers. Let's make sure we're clear on this. Are cowards.
Yeah.
Period.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I was okay. I was telling we were discussing it before. The situation will attack the country openly, even with the localized. We have a joke that then NATO will find a reason why this small country are not a NATO a member of that. Some are the reason. The world did know, but they were. I mean, they. Why? Because this joke has, its sense. Reality, yes. Today, Ukraine, all the people who are helping, and all the countries, we're fighting with the old Soviet tanks. Okay, we have no one tank in Ukraine. It's like a modern technology.
Man, I'm just checking stuff right now. Listen. About an hour ago, the United States came out. Okay. Yes. Confirmed Russian missiles hit Poland. Okay. Earlier it was missiles hit Poland. Yeah. Then U.S. is investigating, and then U.S. came. Russian missiles hit. Now, Duda and NATO are coming out and saying concrete evidence that it was Russia that fired it. Well, who fired it then? You come on. Listen, there's a lot of political pressure that is going to be people in right now. A lot. And I think, this is all happening on who hit it. But most likely we're going to be pushing, as you said, more air defense to more of the same, bud.
Okay. It's like the NATO over Ukraine. Forget about over Ukraine. Over Poland are blind. In the space are blind. So all the system alarming are not working, and something is going on. Everybody was sleeping, and it's going on, and it's by occasion. So flow were flying over the the border, landed there, killed people, and now we know nothing about what's going.
Listen,
Okay.
folks, and we'll shut it down because you and I could keep going on this, and I wish all the technology we'd show everything, but folks, you know this enough in your own mind, okay? Ukraine is fighting and defending their homeland. First of all, they wouldn't waste any munition because they need every the aggressor. Hold on, let me finish. Secondly, the last time geographically, Ukraine's not going to be aiming that way, nor anybody. Ukraine is shooting to the east and to the south, trying to push out. I don't know what's coming across the lines right now, but I know one thing: it's political, trying to avoid, for some reason, having a Putin. That's what it comes down to.
What is the biggest?
Go ahead.
What is the biggest threat when Russia launches one missile to Poland, and then everything is quite serious, or missiles flying through over different nuclear power plants? No, this is not serious situation for NATO. It's GPT, or like this is. Oh, it's okay. Just get relaxed. But the farmer, 2 people killed. Understand me right way. But the situation, 100 over Ukraine with the biggest power plants in Europe. Nothing serious. We do not need to call emergency call the NATO countries. And the question for me, I have a big question. What is the biggest threat? When Ukrainians will try to by protecting, because we don't have technologies. Some we have, but in reality, we don't have these airplanes. We don't have really, high technology air defense system in the whole country. We don't have even one that kind of system for every power plant.
You know what? I didn't even think about it from that viewpoint, and I we're very sad about what has happened. 2 people lost their lives. Now, emergency meetings. We're coming. We're going to do whatever. But man, what a great point. What about all the missiles that are flying and the shelling that's hitting nuclear power plants, and the thousands and thousands of Ukrainians that are killed and being frozen? Point. And I think that's a great place to end it. For sure, next 24 hours will be in.
I think if the nuclear station, and we had Chernobyl or even worse in the world, and then nobody in Europe or NATO countries which will be can blame Ukraine, or can blame all the attempts of Ukrainians. Please help us to stop this crazy. The question of the price. We didn't have. Zelensky president gave us 1% of NATO military technique, equipment, the tanks, 1%, and we will stop this war.
Correct.
If by that,
he said,
crazy Russian.
I'm just letting everybody know you said that Zelensky said if we could get 1% over.
Yes, and if by mistake of because the accuracy of Soviet missiles are crazy, Absolutely. The question, if it be like attack one of the blocks or of nuclear power plant, or will it cost like less? I mean, more than one. I mean, like percent of the tanks and air flights, or there is no like logic in that. The logic, this is the only reason. Then we see that okay, probably we'll win. We need to continue trading Ukraine.
Let's logic in anything that's happening. There's no logic in anything that's happening. Poland today does nothing but accentuate the lack of logic and the lack of understanding. It's caught in the middle. But we're standing faithful and standing strong, and we're still going to bank. All right, my man.
We got requests.
Go ahead.
Requests for a couple hundreds of maybe more. That's they need in the right on the bank of the river, Dnipro River, was occupied long time.
What was the request for? What?
Food. The food.
Food. Oh.
Food.
Okay.
So, and we started to work today and next couple of days with that, and maybe the next week we'll be there. We'll be bringing the new round. I mean, we will make a new round, bringing new food, much more food need, and they need the medicine, but because a lot of old people there. I mean, the bridge there. I don't want to name the place yet. The bridge destroyed. Russian destroyed it, and so like they're in a desperate situation. And reason, I believe this is our fight as a people who understand situations for people to survive, and we're fighting for the lights, and we're fighting for the truth will be known.
Well, we're fighting together, and this great community here. Pretty big update tonight, folks, and we thank you for being here, as always. Sharing, subscribing, telling your friends. Thank you for hitting the description and financially buying supplies through Amazon. Everything that you do, right. So we shall see, but we do say thank you, and God bless you. So Jacob, get some rest. All of this done through a mobile phone connection with some kind of antenna booster on a pink kit. We do anything, and I got Yogi behind me. I've got Yogi Ralph up on the wall, but hey, we're getting it done, man. We're faithful. All right, buddy. Talk to you tomorrow. Yep. Good night, everybody.